Happy birthday, nephew.
That's simple. A lot of like to spend their money. We love to spend our money. We can't take none of this. None. Ain't no armored trucks pulling up at no funerals. Simple. So you better enjoy this. A fool and his money will park. We do this. So
Yeah. So look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film.
Lil Meech just said something that has the whole rap world going crazy. He's claiming that Rick Ross totally scammed his dad, Big Meech, for a crazy amount of money, like $120 million. He says it went down back when his dad was running things from prison. It all started with some posts online, but now it's turned into a huge thing. Rick Ross is firing back with his own posts, denying everything. It's basically like Team BMF is going up against Rick Ross, and both sides are standing their ground. No one is backing down.
It would lead to February 13th, the Big Meech home benefit concert. It's gonna be iconic. Too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now, this the first time it's ever been done. Me performing BMF with the icon himself. This gonna be special.
Epic.
Get your tickets right now.
I'm back.
A quick Google search for you says that your net worth is $20 million.
I know I got more money than that. I might go 70 days without looking at my exact total amount of my money because it gives me anxiety, keep looking at numbers all day. It's like when you put money in stocks, the stock trader told me, say, put a lot of money in stock, don't keep looking at that. It'll drive you crazy.
Everyone is talking about this online, and the whole thing is blowing up. People are choosing sides, and it feels like the internet is completely divided. It all comes down to one big question. Did Rick Ross really play a legendary street figure like Big Meech just to get famous and rich?
Right now, my shoulder broke, but we still getting to the money. We still count paper. This ain't a pump and dump, baby.
Think about it. It was all part of the plan. 50 Cent and Rick Ross, they set up Big Meech. Freeway Ricky, Rick Ross, and now you got 50 Cent, he owning the rights to BMF.
At first, this seemed like it was going to be an amazing comeback. Big Meech was finally out of prison, and everyone in the hip-hop world was excited to welcome him back. People thought he was going to start fresh and build a huge new empire through movies, business deals, and other big power moves for his family.
Take a picture with Rick Ross. Put your back against the wall and just slide down.
Then Rick Ross got involved and started talking about a huge movie deal, throwing around that number of $120 million. He promised to make Big Meech's story into a major Hollywood film, and it sounded like a perfect plan. He was talking about movie contracts, fancy brand partnerships, and making BMF a worldwide name. But now people are saying that behind all those big promises, there was nothing real. They claim there was no actual movie, no signed deal, and no money. It was all just talk.
Hype. Ross take a shit a couple weeks ago about a girl that you're not even with no more.
We wearing Travis Scott's all week.
What is it with you and Ross that's just been going on for so long?
Nothing else works. For him, outside of mentioning me. When things get bad, you mention me. It gets covered further. I get covered across the board. They get covered on the hip-hop blogs. It is what it is. And you watch because I have nothing else to say. You just see it happen periodically as it goes. You know, you see that big white elephant, that property he lives at? It costs more than the nightclubs. He's in the nightclubs. What kind of rich cut his own grass? Why you out there cutting your own grass? You trying to save money, nigga? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh?
Ain't nothing wrong with cutting your grass.
People who know what happened say Rick Ross was really clever about the whole thing. He used smooth talking, showed off his fancy connections, and made a lot of great promises that he never kept. Big Meech thought it was about friends helping friends, but other people saw it as a trick. In the end, Ross ended up with more money and fame, while the whole situation just made BMF look messy. Someone close to it all even said that while people feel sorry for Lil Meech, they're upset with the older guys who were in charge. They feel like those older guys should have known that this wasn't about real friendship. It was just business. And in business, just being loyal won't stop someone from taking advantage of you.
Biggest boss Ricky Rose just got word. Meech concert not happening tonight, but 3:05 is going down at the office. Meet us there. Bam!
While all this was happening, 50 Cent wasn't staying quiet. He's the one who actually made the BMF story famous with his hit TV show. From the very beginning, 50 Cent paid for the whole series and even paid for Lil Meech's acting classes. He gave Lil Meech a huge opportunity that totally changed his life, turning him from a regular kid into a real TV star.
When that song came out, that's probably like the hottest I ever seen a rapper. People was confronting Ross everywhere, 100 deep, with Larry Hoover Jr. 100 deep to confront Ross about saying the old man name in the song. Even some of the BMF guys for saying he think he Big Meech. When it come to Meech, Meech had guys getting BMF tats on their face in the pen.
50 Cent always treated the BMF story with a lot of respect and turned it into a huge TV hit. So everyone was shocked when Lil Meech started hanging out with Rick Ross instead of sticking with 50, the guy who had helped him become famous. That decision started a quiet beef behind the scenes, and eventually, they weren't hiding their anger anymore.
I'm Big Meech, entrepreneur here at 5 Star Smiles to make sure that my smile is right forever. First off, English is everything to me, so the first thing people notice is the smile. So knowing that I was going to be doing probably interviews and stuff like that and be in the limelight, I wanted to make sure that was the first thing I had did. And that's the thing, like a lot of people in the prison, they neglect our...
So 50 Cent started making fun of Rick Ross online, which is something he's really good at. He joked that Ross's big idea was just sending some Wingstop chicken to Big Meech in prison. But underneath all the jokes, 50 was making a real point. He was saying that Ross wasn't actually helping the BMF story. He was just using it for his own benefit. Then 50 Cent started to get really personal. He began telling fans things they didn't know, like how Lil Meech would sometimes show up to work under the influence. He said Meech would even throw up during training and had a hard time focusing. 50 also joked about finding whippets, which are small gas canisters, in Meech's truck, laughing that he had to look up online what they even were.
Yeah. So look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director? Shout out to my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino. It's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big. I can feel it. I'm just talking.
The point was clear. 50 Cent wanted everyone to see that he was the only one acting like a real adult. He felt everyone else was just playing games with the BMF name. While all this drama was happening, Lil Meech was out smiling for the cameras with Rick Ross. They were going to clubs, taking pictures, and acting like everything was perfect. But people watching from the outside weren't fooled. They started saying the partnership was fake, built on big egos and empty promises. Then, Lil Meech announced a big, welcome home benefit concert for his dad. He promised it would be huge, with famous guests like 21 Savage and Rick Ross. He said it would be epic to perform the song BMF with Ross himself. But it didn't take long for things to fall apart. Fans started to turn their backs. People reminded everyone that 50 Cent had supported Lil Meech from the very beginning, with no gimmicks or fake loyalty. Now that Lil Meech had chosen to side with Rick Ross, the consequences started to show. It seemed like his money and fame were slowing down, and you could see the frustration on his face. That's when Michael Rainey Jr., the actor from the show Power, jumped in with a comment that shook the internet. He said he didn't feel bad for Lil Meech or his dad, Big Meech, because they were grown men who should have seen this coming. The clip went viral everywhere. 50 Cent saw this and agreed, saying it was proof of weak loyalty and bad judgment. The message was loud and clear. Lil Meech had chosen clout and attention over real loyalty, and Rick Ross was just using the BMF name for his own benefit. This wasn't even the first time Rick Ross had done something like this. People who know him say he has a history of leaving his own friends and crew behind when it's convenient for him. Then Ross tried to change the story. He announced a big-budget BMF movie, saying it would be better than 50 Cent's TV show. He name-dropped famous directors, but to most people, it just sounded like he was making it up. That's when other people in the hip-hop world started calling Ross out. A well-known manager named Wack 100 said Ross was the real villain in this story. He said Ross was never truly loyal to Big Meech. He was just using the BMF name to take cheap shots at 50 Cent. Wack said if Ross really respected Meech, he would have handled their business quietly instead of turning it into a public circus. It became obvious that every interview and every post Ross made was all about him, not about honoring the BMF legacy. He was using Big Meech's name like a trophy to make himself look more important. Think about it. Ross even drove a wedge between Big Meech and 50 Cent, the man who actually built the successful BMF TV show and brought the name back to life. In the end, all that was left were broken promises. Then, the rumors started. People behind the scenes whispered that Rick Ross was the real reason Lil Meech's big benefit concert got canceled. They said Ross didn't want Meech to succeed on his own. He wanted to keep him sidelined, so he could act like he was the one carrying the BMF legacy. That's a major betrayal, using someone else's struggle for your own marketing. When Lil Meech tried to fight back online by calling 50 Cent an internet gangster, nobody believed him. Fans saw it as damage control, trying to clean up the mess that Rick Ross had created. The internet made jokes and memes, painting Lil Meech as a young guy who got tricked in his own family story. This is a pattern for Rick Ross. Look at his own record label, Maybach Music Group. Artists like Meek Mill and Gunplay were once under his wing, but stories came out about missing payments and shady contracts. It seems like behind the success, there was always frustration. The difference between 50 Cent and Rick Ross is clear. 50 Cent builds real things. He turned real stories into billion-dollar TV shows like Power and BMF. He builds empires. Rick Ross, on the other hand, often borrows from other people's legacies. He built his whole rap name after a real-life drug kingpin. He used the name of Larry Hoover, a famous Chicago gang leader, in his songs. And now, he's doing the same thing with Big Meech. People are finally connecting the dots. Every time Rick Ross's fame starts to fade, he finds someone else with a powerful story to latch onto. But while he wins the attention game, the people he links up with often end up losing respect, reputation, or peace. The streets are now asking a tough question. Was Rick Ross ever really loyal to Big Meech? Or was he just trying to become Big Meech in the eyes of the public? The sad truth is that Big Meech's name deserved better. His legacy was supposed to be about second chances and rebuilding, not online drama and confusion. So what's next? Can Lil Meech rebuild the trust he lost? Can Big Meech take back control of his own story? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure. 50 Cent's words are ringing true for a lot of people. Real ones build, fake ones borrow. And right now, everyone is watching to see what happens next.